Hello guys from our hometown of Seward, Alaska. Hope you're having a great day. We got some news that white Sprinter van with kind of like a B plus that we were looking at in the UK, it's not all it's cracked up to be. 35,000 pounds, roughly $50,000. It was good from far, but far from good. So we have an acquaintance over there.
You have a big old mosquito on your face.
We have an acquaintance that we met in Kernville last November over in the UK, and he does bus conversions and just all in all kind of a technical dude, and he had a friend with diagnostics experience on Mercedes, so they went over there. Cost 180 pounds, but they went over and they were able to see things that the pictures were not showing. Like there was a Dropbox album with like 170 pictures, and they all looked really good.
Yeah.
But I knew that we had to get somebody that we trusted, a third party, to lay eyes on it and see those.
Sight unseen.
Exactly. And I knew that it was kind of a shoddy paint job on the cab because I saw like some of the latches had paint on them, but I was willing to accept that. But then there were just like cracks on the framework of the camper, evidence of water leaks, discrepancies. Yeah, the roof was wavy, discrepancies in the odometer, so just a lot of red flags.
An accident on the front end of the vehicle that hadn't maybe been repaired properly, he said. So yeah, well, it was 180 pounds well spent. Very well spent.
Definitely.
I'm so grateful that we met him last year and that we have that resource there. Yeah,
that we didn't have to just go cold calling shops to get a vehicle inspected. But it's come to our attention that we've never really laid it out for you what we're looking for and what we're working with and what our main goal out of a vehicle is. So right now we're procrastinating on some housework, so we came down to Two Lakes Park. This is a nice little place in the winter time. They have ice skating. There's a light over there so they can light it up. But essentially, it's just a nice peaceful walk through the woods. And once we get to the other end, which lake is it? Oh, there's two lakes. So I don't know if this is upper or lower or A and B or 1 and 2. I don't care.
It's the one by Avtech.
Yeah, when we get to the one by Avtech, we'll tell you what we're looking for. Well, we've made it to the other twin lake, which is behind Avtech, which is the state-run vocational school. I'm not exactly sure what it stands for, but it's Avtech, and it's a great program. But right behind there is the other twin lake, still iced over. Once the ice goes out, I believe it's maybe even the city of Seward or Fish and Game, but some authority plants little grayling or trout in here, and they have a kids fishing day. All kinds of fun for the little ones.
Yeah, they're not big, but they have a really good time.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about. So now, what are we looking for in an expedition vehicle? Well, we have a budget, and let's just say if money wasn't an issue, we wouldn't be having as many challenges finding a vehicle. But there are a lot of vehicles out there in the price range that we're looking for.
Yeah, so we're looking in the 60,000 price range. This is purchased out the door and hopefully at least to some degree outfitted with the things that we want to buy for it.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like a lot, but we don't want to finance anything. There's lots of challenges with that. Number one, they don't want to finance a vehicle that's not in this country.
Yeah.
And that really restricts us on what we can buy. Number 2, we want to be able to own it outright when we cross borders, so that we don't have any troubles.
Yeah, and having Wells Fargo's name also on the title just doesn't always work well.
And number 3, and maybe the most important one, is that we've spent a good portion of the last 5 years getting completely out of all debt from grad school and buying homes and buying cars.
Yeah, that whole great American dream thing.
And we don't want to go back into a bunch of debt for this particular dream.
Exactly.
We can make it happen in this price range.
Yeah. So there are a few mandatory items. It has to be 4-wheel drive, and we're not looking for something to do the craziest off-roading around. We just want to be able to drive down dirt roads, muddy roads, snowy roads, hit the beach, and just do light core off-roading. It has to not require ultra low sulfur diesel or diesel exhaust fluid. And what's the other one they have on the list?
I don't know. We just got a text from Jim, so I was looking at that.
Oh, it needs to have a queen size bed. That one in the UK only had like a 4-foot wide bed, and it's now off the table, so we don't even need to talk about it anymore, but we have to have some level of comfort.
Next on the list is what kind of chassis are we going to have? Now there's the Unimog, MAN, what are some of the other? Iveco.
There's quite a few.
There's a lot of companies out there that make the great big chassis, and we're totally open to that. There are some limitations with it, like while it has incredible payload capacity, they also weigh a lot. That means that there may be some restrictions in terms of driver's licenses, and also they're huge. So getting into ancient cities, old roads, tiny roads could really be a challenge. And the other thing is that a lot of times they're really old. I mean, we're talking like in the 80s old.
In our price range.
In our price range, of course. I mean, you could buy a brand new one for $200,000, and then you build, your cabin on the back of it. But that's not really what we're looking for. So then you flip to the Sprinter chassis, which is not something we were looking at all initially. Honestly, we didn't think that was going to be what we wanted. But what we've realized is that we have better cruising speeds with that. We can go like 65 or higher. We also have much better fuel economy with those. We're looking at like 20 to 30 miles a gallon instead of 7 or 8, maybe 11 at the really, really best possible potential with the Unimog. They're smaller, so that means no driver's license restrictions. That's going to be easier for us to get into small cities. We're not going to have those kinds of issues of, oops, we're too wide. Typically, we can buy something a little newer that still fits in our price range. Of course, like Ben mentioned, we're looking for something older than 2007, so we don't have that DEF fluid and ultra low sulfur diesel issue, but it'd be nice to buy something made in this century.
Well, a lot of the other details are just going to be subjective to what is out there and what is available, but the breakdown of it is we don't want to go tremendously in debt. We want something that has 4-wheel drive and can drive us around the world, but also at the same time not be such a beast that we don't want to go run errands in it or drive it around, because our plan is also to spend a few months a year in Airbnbs and just unwind. So I know I've said it before, like the perfect vehicle doesn't exist, but I think, the perfect vehicle for our adventure is definitely going to be found soon.
I do too. One way or the other, it's coming. We're narrowing it. We're narrowing in on it. We're honing down on the details of what we want, what we need, what we can afford, and not go into debt for.
Well, and we're also positioned to pull the trigger. We are. Like seriously, position. If the right vehicle pops up, and Jim gives it a once over, and pending it's in the UK, I could be on a flight over there to sign the papers in a matter of a week or less, and then we'd just have the vehicle sitting over there waiting for us to wrap up all these loose ends here in Seward. All right, while we were sitting here, Jim texted us and he wants to give us a little more info about what he found this morning. I'm going to send the drone up and get some awesomeness for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this plan is going to unfold. It's got to.
It's happening.
Yes.
Everything's in line for it to happen.